Max and Lily were best friends who spent their summer days in a treehouse they had built together in the big oak tree in Max's backyard. They decorated it with colorful blankets, fairy lights, and even a small bookshelf filled with their favorite adventure books. It was their special hideout, a place of endless fun and imagination. One warm summer evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the treehouse seemed different. The air grew cooler, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves. Max and Lily were playing a game of cards when they heard soft whispers coming from the corners of the treehouse. At first, they thought it was just the wind, but the whispers grew louder and more distinct. The whispers seemed to call their names, and a chill ran down their spines. Lily, brave as ever, suggested they investigate. Max hesitated but agreed, and they carefully climbed down the ladder and began to search the yard. The whispers led them to an old, overgrown section of the garden they had never explored before. Among the tangled vines and thick underbrush, they found a small, weathered wooden box buried in the ground. With some effort, they pried it open and discovered an old diary. The diary was filled with delicate handwriting and the sketches of a young child. The entries told the story of a boy named Charlie who had once lived in the house many years ago. He loved the treehouse just like Max and Lily did, but he had tragically disappeared, leaving his spirit behind. Max and Lily took the diary back to the treehouse and read it by the light of their lantern. They learned that Charlie's spirit was restless because his final wish had never been fulfilled. He wanted to be remembered and have his story told. Determined to help, Max and Lily made a plan. They organized a small memorial in the garden with a plaque and a new tree planted in Charlie's honor. They invited their families and neighbors to join them in celebrating Charlie's life, sharing his story, and making sure he was remembered. That night, as they returned to the treehouse, the whispers were gone. Instead, they felt a warm, comforting presence. The treehouse seemed brighter and more cheerful, as if Charlie's spirit was finally at peace. Max and Lily felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing they had helped a lost soul find rest. From that day on, the treehouse was filled with happy memories and a special feeling of friendship that connected them to the past. And every summer evening, when the sun set, Max and Lily would tell Charlie's story to anyone who visited, keeping his memory alive in the most magical way. Emma had always loved animals, so when a stray cat appeared in her neighborhood, she couldn't resist adopting it. The cat was a beautiful gray with striking green eyes and a soft, purring meow. Emma named him Shadow, and he quickly became her faithful companion. However, Shadow had a peculiar habit. He would disappear every nightfall. Emma would find him curled up in his bed during the day, but each night he would vanish into the darkness. Emma was intrigued but never worried, thinking he might be exploring the neighborhood. One chilly evening, as Emma watched Shadow disappear through the open window, she decided to follow him. She slipped on her coat and quietly followed the cat into the night. Shadow led her through winding alleyways and past the old abandoned houses at the edge of town. Eventually, they arrived at a long-forgotten cemetery. The moon cast eerie shadows over the gravestones, and Emma's footsteps echoed as she followed Shadow through the rows of old weathered markers. Shadow paused at a particularly old grave with a faded inscription, his green eyes glowing eerily in the moonlight. Emma felt a shiver run down her spine but continued. Shadow sat by the grave and looked up at Emma, his eyes filled with a strange, sorrowful intensity. She knelt beside the grave and read the inscription. It was the resting place of a young girl who had passed away many years ago. Emma noticed a small, worn teddy bear resting against the gravestone, something that seemed out of place. As she reached out to touch it, Shadow let out a soft meow and nuzzled the teddy bear. Emma realized that the cat was trying to communicate something important. Determined to understand, Emma researched the girl's story and discovered that the teddy bear had belonged to her, and she had cherished it dearly. Emma decided to honor the girl's memory by placing a new teddy bear and a bouquet of flowers at the grave. That night, Shadow stayed by the grave, purring contentedly. Emma could feel a gentle, calming presence, as if the girl's spirit was finally at peace. From then on, Shadow never disappeared at night again. Instead, he slept peacefully beside Emma, and every evening, they would visit the cemetery together, making sure the grave remained tended and honored. Emma had helped a lost spirit find peace and discovered the true bond between her and her mysterious, ghostly cat. Sarah and Jake were best friends who loved exploring the old abandoned playground at the edge of town. It was a place they'd often heard stories about, how it had been closed down years ago after a tragic accident. Despite the eerie stories, the playground fascinated them, and they couldn't resist visiting it one summer evening. As twilight fell, they made their way to the playground, the rusty swings and slide casting long shadows in the fading light. The air was still, and the only sound was the creak of old metal as the wind gently swayed the swings. They decided to play on the swings and use the slide one last time before heading home. Suddenly, Sarah noticed something strange. The playground equipment, which had always seemed dull and worn, was now glowing softly with a faint, otherworldly light. As she and Jake played, they heard the faint sound of children laughing, but there were no other kids around. Curious and slightly frightened, they explored further and came across a hidden corner of the playground they hadn't seen before. There they discovered an old weathered wooden box buried beneath the sand. Jake opened it carefully, and inside they found a collection of old toys, a wooden horse, a spinning top, and a few faded marbles. Suddenly, a soft, ghostly figure of a little girl appeared near the swings. She looked sad but not menacing. Sarah and Jake realized that the girl was trying to play with them, but she was trapped in the playground's lingering spirit. Determined to help, they remembered the toys they had found. The old wooden horse seemed special, so they decided to place it on the swing and give it a gentle push. As they did, the ghostly girl smiled and started to fade away. The swings creaked softly, and the playground lightened up with a warm glow. With a final wave, the girl disappeared, and the playground seemed to settle into a peaceful quiet. The toys, now glowing softly, were gently returned to the box, which Sarah and Jake decided to leave in the same spot where they had found it. As they left the playground, the air felt lighter, and the playground's eerie atmosphere had vanished. The playground was no longer haunted, but it still held a sense of magic and mystery. Sarah and Jake promised to visit the playground again, not to explore, but to remember the kind spirit of the little girl who had once played there. The playground became a place of happy memories and a reminder of the adventure they had shared. Ben was rummaging through the attic one rainy afternoon when he stumbled upon an old, ornate mirror covered in dust. It was large and framed in intricate patterns of gold. Curious, Ben wiped away the dust and noticed something strange. The mirror's reflection showed not just the attic, but a different world entirely. At first, Ben thought it was a trick of the light, but the reflection revealed a lush, vibrant garden with colorful flowers and a serene calm. Intrigued, Ben reached out to touch the mirror's surface, and his fingers felt a cool, tingling sensation. The garden seemed so inviting that he decided to investigate further. One night, after everyone had gone to bed, Ben quietly crept back to the attic. The mirror's reflection was the same, but this time he saw a shadowy figure standing by the pond. The figure seemed to be reaching out towards the mirror. Ben felt a chill and took a step back, but his curiosity got the better of him. He carefully stepped closer to the mirror, half expecting it to be a trick. As he got closer, the figure became clearer. It was a young girl looking sad and lost. Her eyes were pleading, and she seemed to be trying to communicate with him. Ben realized that the girl was trapped in the reflection and needed help. He could see her holding a small tattered book, which seemed to be her only possession. Determined to help, Ben searched the attic for anything that might be connected to the mirror. He found an old dusty journal belonging to his great-grandmother. Inside, there was a story about a magical mirror that could connect to another world. The journal mentioned that the mirror would only show its true power if someone with a pure heart attempted to help those trapped inside. Ben read further and discovered a spell to free the trapped soul. Following the instructions, he recited the spell while focusing on the mirror's reflection. The room was filled with a warm, golden light, and the shadowy figure of the girl began to fade. As the light dimmed, the garden and the reflection disappeared, and the mirror's surface returned to normal. Ben could feel a sense of calm and relief in the air. The girl was free, and the mirror no longer held any strange reflections. The next day, Ben returned to the attic and found the mirror had become just an ordinary, dusty old frame. He knew he had done something important and felt a special connection to his great-grandmother's legacy. From that day on, Ben often looked at the mirror with fondness, remembering the magical adventure and the girl he had helped. The attic became his favorite place, a reminder of the incredible journey through the mysterious mirror. In a quaint little town, Ava and her best friend Leo stumbled upon an old, forgotten well hidden behind overgrown bushes in the town's park. The well had been abandoned for years and was covered in vines and dirt. Curiosity got the better of them, and they decided to clean it up. As they cleared away the debris, they discovered an ancient rusted bucket and a small worn sign that read, "Make a wish and your heart's desire will come true." They laughed at the old saying, but were intrigued by the well's mysterious aura. One evening, after school, Ava and Leo returned to the well to test the old legend. They both tossed in a coin, each making a silent wish. Ava wished for her family to have more time together, and Leo wished for his shy little sister to find a friend. As they walked away, they heard a faint, mystical hum coming from the well. The next day, they noticed something strange. Their wishes started coming true in unexpected ways. Ava's family began spending more quality time together, planning fun activities and dinners, while Leo's sister made a new friend at school. Excited, Ava and Leo returned to the well to investigate. They noticed that the well seemed to sparkle under the sunlight and felt a warm, comforting presence around it. They saw a shimmering figure emerging from the well. It was a benevolent spirit who introduced himself as the guardian of the wishing well. The guardian explained that the well had the power to grant wishes, but it only worked if the wishes came from the heart and were meant to help others. The spirit thanked Ava and Leo for reminding him of the well's purpose and for their selfless wishes. To express their gratitude, the guardian gave them a small enchanted charm that would help them make their wishes come true if they ever needed it in the future. The charm had a delicate, glowing gem embedded in it. From then on, the well became a special place for Ava and Leo. They continued to visit it, not just to make wishes, but to help others in their town by spreading kindness and generosity. The guardian's magic seemed to be at work in their lives, filling their days with joy and wonder. The old well, once forgotten, became a cherished spot for the town, a symbol of the magic that happens when wishes come from the heart and when friends come together to make a difference. Liam and his little sister Ella had just moved into their grandparents' old house. The house was full of antiques, and in the attic, they discovered an old ornate music box. It was beautifully crafted with intricate designs and a tiny ballerina that danced when the box played its melody. One rainy night, while Liam and Ella were exploring the attic, Ella accidentally knocked over the music box. It fell open, and a hauntingly beautiful melody began to play. The music was unlike anything they had heard before, soft and enchanting, with an eerie, otherworldly quality. As the melody played, the attic seemed to change. The shadows on the walls began to move, and a soft, glowing light appeared near the old trunk. Liam and Ella felt a chill, but were too curious to stop. The glowing light gradually formed into a translucent figure of a young girl dressed in an old-fashioned ballet costume. She was dancing gracefully in time with the music. Her face was sad, and she looked directly at Liam and Ella, as if asking for their help. Ella, frightened but compassionate, approached the music box and noticed a small inscription on its base that read, "For a heart that remembers." She remembered the old stories her grandmother told about a young ballerina who had loved to dance but had passed away tragically. Realizing that the music box was a link to the ballerina's spirit, Liam and Ella decided to help. They found an old family photo album and discovered a photograph of the ballerina with a handwritten note saying she had dreamed of performing one last dance. They organized a small tribute in the attic where they played the music box's melody on a loop, and Ella, who loved ballet, performed a dance in the attic, moving gracefully to the tune. As she danced, the girl's spirit seemed to become lighter and more joyful. When the final note played, the spirit of the ballerina gave a last, graceful bow and slowly faded away, leaving the attic feeling warm and peaceful. The music box stopped playing, and the melody was replaced with a gentle, soothing silence. Liam and Ella felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The attic was no longer eerie, but rather a place filled with a warm memory of the ballerina. They kept the music box in a place of honor, a reminder of the night they helped a lost spirit find peace through the magic of dance and music. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, Mia and her younger brother Alex had just moved into an old house with a sprawling, overgrown garden. The house was charming, but had an eerie feeling to it, especially at night. One evening, while exploring the garden, they noticed strange whispering sounds coming from an old decrepit well at the edge of the property. Intrigued and a little scared, Mia and Alex decided to investigate. They approached the well and saw that the top was covered with a heavy, rusty grate. The whispers seemed to come from beneath the grate, growing louder as they got closer. It was as if someone was trying to communicate with them from below. Alex, being braver than his sister, peered through the gaps in the grate, but he couldn't see anything. The whispers were muffled and unintelligible, creating an unsettling atmosphere. Mia felt a chill and suggested they go inside, but Alex wanted to find out more. That night, as they tried to sleep, the whispers continued, more distinct and urgent. Mia could barely sleep and kept hearing the whispers growing clearer. They seemed to be saying, "Help us, find the key." The next morning, Mia and Alex decided to search for clues about the well. In the attic, they found an old box filled with dusty letters and photographs of the house's previous owners. Among the items was a small, ornate key with a tag that read, "For the well." Excited and nervous, Mia and Alex hurried to the well with the key. They unlocked the grate and carefully lifted it off. The whispers grew louder and more coherent, guiding them. Beneath the grate, they found a small, hidden compartment with a journal. The journal belonged to a young girl who had lived in the house many years ago. She had hidden the journal in the well to keep it safe. The entry spoke of her adventures and dreams and how she had played with her friends in the garden. The final entry revealed that she and her friends had been trapped by a prank gone wrong, and they needed help to be remembered. Mia and Alex decided to honor the girl's memory. They carefully restored the journal and placed it in a special box on a pedestal in the garden, dedicating it to the girl and her friends. They invited the neighborhood to a small ceremony, sharing the story of the journal and the well. That night, the whispers finally ceased, replaced by a peaceful silence. The garden felt more vibrant and welcoming, as if the spirits had found their peace. Mia and Alex felt a deep sense of accomplishment, knowing they had helped the voices of the past be remembered and respected. In a quiet town known for its historic charm, Lily and Tom discovered a hidden library while exploring the basement of their grandmother's old house. The library was behind a secret door they had found by accident while cleaning out old boxes. The library was filled with dusty, ancient books and manuscripts that smelled of old paper and adventure. Among the bookshelves, they found a peculiar, leather-bound book with no title. As they opened it, the pages began to glow faintly, and the room was filled with a soft, mysterious light. As the light settled, Lily and Tom noticed a faint, ghostly figure appearing beside them. It was the spirit of a young librarian who had been trapped in the library for decades. She explained that she had been cursed to remain in the library until someone discovered its secrets and freed her. The spirit revealed that the key to breaking the curse was hidden within the library, in a special book that contained the story of her life and the library's history. The book was rumored to be hidden in plain sight, disguised among the other volumes. Determined to help, Lily and Tom began their search. They carefully examined each book, looking for anything that seemed unusual. They found that some books had hidden compartments and secret messages written in invisible ink. After hours of searching, they discovered a book with a hidden latch that revealed a compartment containing the final part of the librarian's story. The book told of a secret ritual to free the spirit, involving reading aloud a passage and performing a symbolic act of kindness. Lily and Tom followed the instructions, reading the passage with reverence and planting a tree outside the library in the spirit's honor. As they completed the ritual, the library's glow intensified, and the spirit appeared one last time, smiling gratefully. With a gentle word, she thanked them for their kindness and wisdom, leaving them unmoved. From that day on, the library seemed to be filled with peace and joy. Lily and Tom continued wisdom, sharing the story of the hidden library with others, and ensuring that the library remained a cherished and magical place. The hidden library became a symbol of the magic that exists when history, kindness, and adventure come together. And Lily and Tom felt proud to have helped free the spirit of the librarian and preserve the library's enchanting legacy. In a small, sleepy village, Mia and her friend Sam discovered an old lantern while exploring the attic of Mia's grandmother's house. The lantern was made of polished brass and had beautiful, intricate designs. Curiously, Mia and Sam decided to pick it up and see if it still worked. One evening, as they were about to head outside for a game, Mia accidentally knocked the lantern and it began to glow with a soft golden light. The glow seemed to intensify as they watched in awe, and the lantern's light flickered with strange magical patterns. As the lantern's light grew brighter, a shadowy figure emerged from the light, a friendly, ethereal figure of an old woman dressed in old-fashioned clothing. She introduced herself as Mrs. Lumina, a guardian spirit of the village who had been trapped in the lantern for many years. Mrs. Lumina explained that she had been cursed long ago by a jealous sorcerer, and that the lantern was the key to breaking the spell. To free her, Mia and Sam needed to help her find and light 3 special candles that were hidden around the village. Each candle held a piece of the magic needed to lift the curse. Determined to help, Mia and Sam set out on a quest around the village. They followed clues left by Mrs. Lumina and found the candles in various places: an old oak tree, a hidden nook in the library, and beneath a stone in the village square. Each candle was decorated with magical symbols and glowed faintly. After gathering the candles, they returned to the attic. With Mrs. Lumina's guidance, they placed the candles in a special arrangement and lit them. The flames combined into a brilliant light that filled the room, and the lantern began to glow even more intensely. As the final candle was lit, the light enveloped Mrs. Lumina's figure. The shadows of her past began to fade, and her spirit was released. She thanked Mia and Sam for their bravery and kindness, promising to watch over the village as a guardian spirit once more. With the curse lifted, the lantern's glow dimmed to a soft, gentle light. Mia and Sam felt a profound sense of achievement. They placed the lantern in a place of honor in the attic, where it continued to glow softly, a symbol of their magical adventure and the spirit they had freed. From that day on, the village seemed a little brighter, and Mia and Sam knew they had done something truly special. The enchanted lantern remained a cherished reminder of their courage in the magical world that existed just beyond the ordinary. In a small, sleepy town, Jenna and her little brother Max discovered an old, abandoned carousel in the middle of a forgotten fairground. The carousel was covered in dust and cobwebs, but its colorful horses and twinkling lights still had a magical charm, even in its dilapidated state. One night, after a particularly clear and starry sky, Jenna and Max decided to visit the carousel under the moonlight. As they approached, they noticed the carousel starting to glow with a soft, silvery light. The horses on the carousel began to move slowly, as if inviting them to join the ride. Excited and curious, Jenna and Max climbed onto the carousel's horses. As they began to ride, the carousel spun gently, and the air around them became filled with the sweet, melodious sound of an old-fashioned carnival tune. The glow from the carousel brightened, and the fairground started to come alive with shimmering lights and faint, joyful laughter. Suddenly, the air was filled with the ghostly figures of children and performers from a bygone era, all enjoying the carousel as if it were a celebration. They were not frightening, but seemed to be having the time of their lives. Jenna and Max realized they had somehow become part of a magical, moonlit carnival. A kind, ethereal figure appeared beside the carousel, a spirit of the carousel's original ringmaster. He explained that the carousel had been enchanted long ago, and it only came to life under the light of the full moon to bring joy to the spirits of children who had once visited the fairground. However, the carousel had become forgotten, and the spirits had been trapped in their eternal celebration, waiting for someone to bring them back to life. The ringmaster told Jenna and Max that they had the power to help by performing a simple act of kindness. They needed to make a wish for the spirit's happiness and share the joy of the carousel with others. Jenna and Max made their wish, asking for the carousel to be remembered and enjoyed once more. As they made their wish, the carousel's glow intensified, and the spirits began to fade away, leaving behind a warm, magical feeling. The carousel's lights dimmed, but it remained a beautiful, enchanted piece of the fairground. Jenna and Max left the fairground with a sense of fulfillment. They spread the story of the moonlit carousel to the townspeople, and soon the fairground was restored to its former glory. The carousel became a beloved part of town, bringing joy to children and families, and the spirit's eternal celebration was finally complete. The moonlit carousel became a cherished symbol of magic and joy, a reminder that even forgotten places can hold incredible stories and enchantments, waiting for someone with a kind heart to bring them back to life.